Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for a radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM, WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. I think with everything that's going on in the world right now, I think one of the big topics that we seem to keep coming up to is race and racism. And our next guest has co-written a book that not only addresses, I think, race and racism in a way that is disarming, but also I think can be a little humorous, but also get some conversations started. We're excited to welcome best-selling author Kate Schatz to our program today. She's a co-author of the book Do the Work, an anti-racist activity book. We'll talk to Kate not only about the work she's been able to do even before this one, but also what these conversations have been like for her to be a part of and what she hopes you're able to take away from the book as well. Kate, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning. No, it's morning where I am.
Yeah. Well, Kate, I have to say I really enjoyed this book. I've already posted my review on Amazon, and what is so great about it, I think, and I mentioned this in my review, is that it does allow us to kind of take a breath, to not be so defensive, and really kind of have this conversation about racism and race. What was it like for you, along with Kamau Bell, to be able to have these kind of conversations?
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Cyrus. This is an activity book about racism, which I don't think most people are expecting. And you're right that we do try to take a disarming approach and use some humor to get at a topic that is not humorous. And that a lot of people have a really hard time talking about. So your listeners know I'm a white woman, and Kamau, my co-author, is a black man. We're really good friends, and in real life, and in the book. And so also what you get in the book is it's a conversation between the two of us. We're very candid. We're very open. I'm very open about talking about my role in this world, my experience as a white person. Much of his work with his stand-up comedy, his Netflix special, and his show on CNN, United Shades of America, is about being a black man in America and moving through this world and having conversations with people. So we really try to do that in the book, and again, use an unexpected and kind of who, again, maybe would be a little uncomfortable or intimidated by the topic otherwise.
And that's such a great point, Kate, and I love the fact that there are these conversations that you all are able to have in the book that we're kind of able to kind of be a fly on the wall to be a part of. And one of those things is to talk about exactly what we're talking about now, that these are not easy conversations to have. But as your co-author mentions, that, just imagine being the person who's having to experience racism, what so many people are now witnessing, especially because of, the different videos that are out there. And this plays a big part to me in the other side of this book, Kate, for me, and that is, yes, you talk about the problem, but this book is very much about action. It is about being actionable. Why was that important for you to do, to make sure that you're not only talking about something that is top of mind, but also giving some really practical examples of what all of us can do?
Absolutely. And that's important to us because that's what's necessary. That's the next step. That's where we go from here. We can have a lot of conversations about this. We can read and we can talk and we can listen, but then you get to the point of, okay, now you know all this stuff, right? Maybe you know what's going on in the world. You know what people of color are experiencing. You know how bad racism is. You see it on TV. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? So we wrote this book really for the people that find themselves asking over and over, what do I do? It's overwhelming. People can get really paralyzed with the realities of everything. So we really wanted to focus on practical, creative ideas for what people can do in their home, in their community, with their kids, in their workplace. And I think that for activism and change making, doesn't have to always be protesting and marching in the streets. I love that. That's important to me. But that's not the only way to do it. And so we wanted to kind of show people, again, a wide range of how can you actually be impactful on a local level, on a national level. And I think there's a lot of different ways to go about that. So we tried to put it, as much of it as possible in this.
And I think the other thing that you do in the book, and I hope it really makes people think, you give us some examples, again, that are literally ripped from the headlines, including like with Elijah McClain, the gentleman who was out jogging and saw the woman, of course, with her dog, not on the leash, and then you give us these options of what should you do, right, or what would you do, and I love the fact that, I mean, there is, I think, for some people there is a natural response. Of course, you'll just ignore, something, or, if someone says, hey, would you mind putting your dog on a leash? Hopefully you would do that if it makes someone feel better. But there are some people who don't choose that option. Things escalate in the way that they shouldn't. I know the book literally just came out this week, Kate, and we're going to remind our audience how they can get it. But in the early build-up for it, what was it like to kind of see the interest in this topic and in a book from the two of you in addressing it?
Oh, it's it's exciting. We've been waiting for this book to come out. We wrote this book in 2020, and we really actually, we came up with the idea for the book in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, and seeing, the kind of protests that were happening, the racial reckoning, and again, my co-author Kamau found himself in a position of getting asked to speak on this topic all the time. He was going on late night television. Suddenly all the white people wanted to talk to the black guy about what was going on and what should they do. And so that was a moment when he turned to me, and again, we've been friends for a long time, and he was like, look, all these white people are asking me what should I do? He's like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of telling them over and over, like, can you help me come up with some new stuff? And so this was a collaboration between us to really address that moment, which, is one moment in a long history of moments, right? This stuff is nothing new, which is the sad and brutal reality of this country and our history. But there are always things that we can be doing. So it's exciting to see people engaging with the book, taking away different things, reacting to different activities, to different pieces of information. I can't wait to hear from people about what they're learning and what it's making them think about. Really, I want people to come away from this book with some new ideas and maybe a sense of, wow, I could do this. And, actually, I talked to a woman last night after we did an event, and one of the things she said was, she said, I realized that I am doing the work. She's, there was things she was already doing in her life that she hadn't thought of being necessarily very impactful. And she realized, well, she's actually already doing some really great stuff. And I love that as well.
Right. And I think I love the fact, again, the humor part is, I think, so important for this, because this can be a very difficult thing to talk about, I think, for anybody these days, right? But especially for people, who are not experiencing the racism themselves. One of the best parts of the book, I want to say for our audience as we wrap up here, is a big list of actions you can take, Kate. And I love that, because some of the things in there are be intentional about your words and actions. I think that is such a big one. And then, of course, I think the other one that really comes across is be willing to give up advantages you didn't earn. And I think, that is something to let people think about, right? Exactly, what is it that maybe I take for granted that other people do have to work for or may never get? So it really does show the importance of it. Again, everyone, best-selling author Kate Schatz has been our guest. The book is Do the Work, an anti-racist activity book. It is available to our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite local bookstore. Kate, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Oh, we can find me and Kamau on social media. We're on Twitter. I'm at Kate Schatz on Twitter, and he's at W. Kamau Bell. We're on Instagram. We've got websites. We're on the internet. We're chatting with people both on Twitter and Instagram. So people are welcome to connect. And, if you get a copy of the book and you do some of the activities, post a picture of, we've got coloring pages in here. We've got crosswords. I want people to interact with it and engage, and then tell us what they're learning.
Exactly. Definitely invite that as well. Kate, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Definitely looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much, Cyrus. Take care. Have a great day.
Hey, you as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.